I sat on a bus stop for 3 hours crying. One day, you know, when I went to the office, I was like, I had that, when you have that feeling that something bad is going to happen. And I was called in, and they said, you know, we have to stop your placement today itself. Begin with my international business law journey. It was a good journey, but then it was not a very simple journey, I would say. When back in India, when I started, I was in my course. I was seeing there was a lot of competition. And to be very frank, a law background, it usually comes for people whose father or forefathers is in the business,
Yeah.
or they have established well enough to get their children to settle. I wanted to break the stereotype at that time that why is it always important for a person who has a background of law can only survive? Why can't a
Yeah.
person who doesn't have a background can also do very well in their career or life?
I love data. It resolves misinformation. Let's talk to experts, analyze news, and smartly plan your study abroad journey. Hello, aspirants. Welcome to Videshi Chai.
COVID-19, a delayed visa, and then when you finally go there, your first landlord turns out to be a nightmare. Would you still go through it? Today's guest is Kinnari Tripathi, a lawyer from India who moved to Belfast to pursue her master's in international business law at Queen's University. From unexpected course changes to housing scams and benefits of abroad education, Kinnari is here to give us a rational view on her abroad experience.
So let's welcome her. Welcome, Kinnari. Or should I say that you have a very unique name.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate you doing this. And I'm sure the students, our viewers, are going to benefit immensely from your practical experience and advice. So really looking forward to our conversation. Let's start at the beginning. And what sparked your interest in studying abroad? And how did you land on this specific course of international business law?
So, as we know, my name is Kinnari Tripathi. I have graduated from India, D.Y. Patil Law College. I have completed my LLB degree from there. I am a qualified lawyer in India, and I completed my degree in 2019. Um, well, just to run down my memory, to to be frank, in the first place, I was not very much keen to be a lawyer, but then my family always saw that I had the potential, or should I say, I had the perks or looks of becoming a lawyer. So that's how my journey started. I did. I was in. I started going through my courses, and then I finalized to do BA LLB, and I did from D.Y. Patil Law College, Pune. I'm originally from Kanpur, but we have been shifted to Mumbai, Pune quite a long time ago. So basically, I think I'm from there. uh, Apart from that, to begin with my international business law journey, it was also very much I would say, uh, it was a good journey, but then it was not a very simple journey, I would say, because in the first place, when I thought about doing the international business law, actually, I didn't think it was just, I just wanted to leave the country at that moment. It all started when I was in my third year of law, and I was like fed up with law at that time because it was too much pressure on me, and I didn't think I would have gone through with it. But I took a pause, and I thought, what could I do better, or may I have any other options? But then the lawyer inside me never died, and I think that's what helped me to get back. Um, Before going abroad, I when I started my research, I saw international education as a transformative opportunity and an exciting mix of academic rigor and cultural exchange and personal growth as well.
Yeah.
I had imagined it would be a challenge in me in the best ways, and I it truly did. Just not always in the ways I expected. Um, my interest, well, in international business law specifically came from seeing how interconnected the world has become. Businesses operate globally now, and legal systems are constantly evolving to keep up. And I wanted to be a part of that dynamic space where law meets commerce and on an international scale. I felt that the most relevant and exciting area for someone where I can enjoy both critical thinking and real world application.
Yeah.
Well, I was passionate and I was very thorough with, learning the legal systems because it's very vague from what I have learned in India and what I am actually doing over here. To be very precise, I have currently now gone thorough with four legal systems. That includes India, US, and UK with Ireland. So
Yeah.
uh, I have been, uh, I would say, like I am a multi legislation. I would say that was also my part of my dissertation in my final year. So
Got it.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's how it all I think has started.
Very
Um,
cool.
but it has always like when I was starting to do this, it was never easy because it was just me alone.
Yeah.
I didn't take help of anybody. Like
Okay.
I would suggest I didn't even had informed my family that I'm planning at that moment, but I was doing my research and to finalize this, I had opted for multiple countries. I was looking for USA, I was looking for Europe as well, but UK had the opportunity or the courses which was recognized in all over the world. So if I do want to change or come back, it would still be valid. So apart from that, it is just not education anymore, I would say. It is more how you have practical knowledge.
Yeah.
So, like, my course is not only valid, but I would say it's a part of my career, but then I am nothing without my experience, I would say. So it was very important for me because I was coming from India and to get a job over here or land myself a job, I have a proper understanding that my course offers me a placement, which not many universities do.
Yeah. That's
And
unique. Yeah.
it, yeah, so it was very difficult for me to finalize the course at the same time because I was applying for Queen's Mary in London and Essex as well, and I had got the offer from them, but they were not offering me the placement. So
Got it.
I was like, no, I cannot. Like everything was done with that universities, but then everything was good as well. But then the only problem was the course which they were offering was not what I was looking forward to. That's when I
Can
landed. Yeah, sure.
Sorry to interrupt you. So before we get to the course choice, I wanted to touch upon a couple of other points for our viewers' benefit.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
you mentioned having had some work experience in India as well. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that. Where were you working? And also, is there a legal professional in India? Maybe you're somebody in your friend circle, or in your relative circle, who you look up to as a mentor or a guide to the legal world.
So, Dinesh, to be very frank, my background, my family, nobody is a lawyer.
Got it.
I'm the first lawyer
Okay.
of my generation.
Nice.
But my grandfather, I would say, he is very keen, to be very frank. And I think since I've got my senses, he has been behind me to pushed me,
Mm.
me and my father to get me into a law field. Like it was his dream.
Mm.
He was very much happy with the fact that, I qualified and passed my lawyer degree in India. Like, this was a big surprise for him that I came for my LLM, basically. So, yes, that is one thing which has kept me going forward. He's very much happy right now. I would say he's in 80s or 90s, and he's very proud of me now,
Yeah, that must be
being a
amazing. Yeah.
girl, being the girl of the house, and having a teen year wherein people had, no hopes left. That is
Yeah.
because when you're in your teen years, and I would say when you're in your college degree or in a bachelor's, you don't have that sense. Like, you cannot convince people that, you have that potential.
Yeah.
But then masters changed everything.
Mm.
I think the perspective for my parents or people around me, the friends around me, everybody saw that, oh, she has a lot of potential, and I would say guts
Yeah.
to start proceeding with something which was nowhere around in their wildest thoughts. So, yeah, I would say it is a dynamic journey of mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
And where were you working? What all kind of work experience you've had in India before you applied?
Yes, so I started my working as a lawyer in, I would say 2018,
Mm.
around 2018. I started my internship in Pune court, and under a lawyer as a intern, wherein I was working for family and commercial
Got it.
suits. So eventually, because it was a part of my course, then that I had to take an internship.
Yeah.
So in my fifth year, I was again under like a second lawyer. With that, I went to Lucknow High Court. I was working under a judge as a apprenticeship. It was basically an apprenticeship which offered me. I was like, basically, I would say, like a secretary to him,
Got it.
wherein every day's cases, I used to give a bifurcation of every day what is the lineups, and work on the cases, work him with the judgments, work him with the research work, basically. So with that, in the background, I was doing my individual counseling as well
Got
for
it.
the court.
Nice.
So, yeah, so there are multiple places I was working at the same time. So I think that has been part and parcel now. But yes, that I did for a year during the same time when all my course and everything was going along,
Yeah.
my admission and my study was going along. So, like, everything was happening together.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Got
but
it.
yes, yeah.
You mentioned that you started, researching about this in the third year of your law school, and I think you used the word you wanted to get out of India. Maybe you
Yeah.
somehow you had some dissatisfaction. Tell us more about that. What led to that feeling that this was not the country to make your career in and you had to get out, at least for now.
So, when back in India, when I started, I was in my course. I was seeing there was a lot of competition.
Mm.
And to be very frank, a law background, it usually comes for people whose father or forefathers is in the business,
Yeah.
or they have established well enough to get their children to settle.
Yeah.
But for me, that was not the case.
Yeah.
And I was not willing to give 10 to 15 years just to get myself
Mm.
settled at that
Understandable.
time.
Yeah. I agree with that. I've seen that in my experience as well. generally most of the law practices that are successful, they come from at least one or two generations earlier, and that's how they get established.
Exactly. So, are there anybody in your background, in your family's background, like your wife is working? So I think
Yeah.
that would be similar understanding.
No, so
But
yeah, so her grandfather was a lawyer, so she gets some of that from, yeah.
exactly.
So
See, that's the case. See, it is usually that's the case
yeah,
which happens usually around. So that's what I wanted to break the stereotype at that time, that why is it always important for a person who has a background of law can only survive? Why can't a
yeah,
person who doesn't have a background can also do very well in their career or life?
yeah. That's cool.
So yeah, that's what was in like it was intriguing me, because people around me, my friends, or I would say my classmates, most of them had a background, most of them, and which used to scare me as well, because I was like, I don't know where this is going,
Yeah,
and if I'm studying hard as well, will my degree be valid? Will I be recognized? Because you don't, if see, degree is one thing I would say, but then experience is on a whole level.
yeah,
Companies do not hire you basis on your degree anymore.
yeah,
They, even if you're a fresher, they expect you have some skills. So that is one of the difficult parts of this generation or this world. I would say that irrespective you're studying, you should have your experience in the background running.
yeah,
So that's why when this had happened to me, and I was slipping into the fact that this is not working out, I should explore options.
yeah.
I did explore some options, but then I was like, I cannot do that, because the lawyer inside me was like screaming that no, you cannot give up. I'm a person who cannot give up easily. Like, I would give my 100% until I completely give it up. And something really changed after that when I gave that space. When I was a bit away from law, I was like, no, this is not anywhere going, it's not working out. So I came back. I did complete my fourth year, wherein I started my research. And the research was somewhere down the line that commercial law, or I would say corporate law, in India was at that time progressing. It is progressing, still progressing, but then to be on a very high band, it is very difficult. It
Yeah.
just exactly after your course. So if ever I want to plan to come back as well, after this experience, I might get a good post.
Mm.
But during that time, as a fresher, it was not possible.
Understood.
So, so then that's when I wanted to go out of India, and
Yeah,
I did my works to come here,
makes
wherein,
sense.
yeah. So it was just not only me who worked, but then I got into a consultancy named TC Global,
Mm.
which is based in Pune.
Yeah,
They helped me a lot with my admissions, I would
very
say.
nice.
They were they helped me in the whole process, and till they were there until I reached my university. So
That's quite a review for TC Global. I'm sure they'll be glad when
yeah,
they see this podcast. Very cool.
yeah,
And you mentioned earlier when you were designing your course and selecting your university. This is the university and this is the course that you zeroed in on because of the placement assistance or the placement support that they provided. Tell us a little more about what kind of career options are open to graduates of international business law. Sorry, international business law. Is that the right name of the course?
yes,
Yeah,
international business law.
international business law. What kind of career opportunities are open to the graduates of international business law? And have you found that the expectations that you had when you started the course, have they met the actual outcome?
So, when I begin my course, so it's just not about the academic, I would say, Janish. It
Yeah,
is the cost of living, the tuition fees. It includes everything,
yeah,
finance, how you're going to survive, because my course was not for 1 year but for 2 years.
yeah.
So it involved everything. I was supposed to join the course in 2020, but
Mm,
due to COVID, things happened to be not happening the way it should be.
yeah,
And my mark sheet for the final year was delayed. I had got the unconditional offer letter with them, but because COVID happened, and I was like, okay, this is not happening anymore.
yeah,
I thought, okay, I have to explore some other option, or maybe, think about doing it in India, because my parents were like, it's okay, don't worry, we can do it here. And I was like very much adamant for the fact, no, I have to go. I need to leave. I need to have that space to go out. University at that time, Queens was very keen because when I was talking with Essex and other universities as well at the same time, they were not giving me deferment, you see, because I was not able to join 2020 in 2020 batch. Um, Queens Mary and others were like, you need to reapply the admission, and I was like, because it's not only the process of putting your form in. You see, there is you have to give your personal recommendations, all those processes, which include writing an essay to the university. I had to give a exam as well for English, Duolingo exam as well. So to qualify that, because there was a lot of money put in. It's not a small British Council
yeah,
course I had to go through. It's not that my English is poor. It's just that there is a set of band they require,
yeah,
and it is a bit of more advancement on your language that includes speaking and writing and other things. So
yeah,
I had done that. I had qualified that. So, and that was only valid for, I think, 6 months or so. So it was very difficult. If I would have got a deferment, that all energy would have gone, not all work would have gone into waste. So Queen's University stepped up and they were like, we are fine to give you deferment looking at the current situation.
yeah,
And I was very much happy about the fact that finally somebody's understanding what we are going through,
yeah,
because it's not easy. You are talking on emails.
yeah.
You are not on phones. You cannot
Right.
be writing an emotional email to the university stating that no, this is not happening. You need to help me out and all of that, because
Yeah,
they had a lot of options. Why you?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Yeah.
But it's amazing that they, listen to your situation and they were, as you said, compared to other universities. It shows that they cared, and I'm sure you
Yeah.
appreciated that.
Yes, definitely. Throughout my journey in Belfast, I would say my university has been a backbone, I would say. Like it is a family. I'm an alumni now, but if I still go back to my professors or my dean, they will help me out in best way possible.
Very cool.
They so that's what you generate. That's what one of the differences I have found
Yeah. So
from.
that's another glowing review, and this time for Queen's University Belfast. And I'm
Yeah,
sure our viewers will appreciate those who are still shortlisting the universities for UK. Another question for you. So, and there's a good segue into it. When you reached Belfast, despite all these obstacles, despite COVID, how did life in Belfast, how did life at Queen's University treat you overall? Just not just academics, but also yes, of course, academics, but besides academics, just campus life, and you said placement support, friends, just everything. Whatever you want to share.
So Queens has this very good, I would say, way of making Indian students or maybe international students they made a WhatsApp group
Mm.
so that we can communicate or maybe
With
start
each other.
talking to
Yeah.
each other, or maybe if people are on the same course can have a chat
Yeah.
about it, which becomes a bit like, it's like it becomes easier
Yeah.
for transition when you are coming to a new country unknown of the fact that what is happening, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's when me and my some of my friends, because I was living in student accommodation for the first year. I think it was a bit easier for me, but uh, to make friends. They provide with lot of, I would say, meeting sessions, you see,
Mm.
like a catch up or maybe
Yeah.
beer and pizza, or maybe, they'll put up host events so that you can, meet new people, make a good understanding of the people, or, make your friends just to have an explore option. So, and Queen's University is very diverse in that matter, I would say. They celebrate all the Indian festivals.
Very
So,
nice.
with traveling to be a part as well, they used to take us for trekking. They used to give us, free food, free drinks, free like clothing, groceries. They have even, because it was COVID time, they have even provided with groceries, I would say. Another good part which happened with me, I got COVID as soon as I landed within next 3 months. And it was a time of December. And I was on a very critical situation that time because I was lost of breath and, like I had to get hospitalized.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, mm, regardless of their safety, the people in the accommodation and my university people came and helped me out. And my friends, along with them, they took me to the hospital and got me admitted. But yes, regardless, and they got COVID after that because of, I would say, because of me. But they bounced back. They were safe. They were not so bad like my situation. But yes, that time I realized that you need people.
Yeah.
You shouldn't you shouldn't question yourself asking for help.
Yeah.
You it is fine to ask for help. It
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
fine to not fall bad about it.
Yeah. Yep.
So yes, although not many people prefer accommodations because it's expensive,
Yeah.
obviously. But there are people who have fallen into scam. I have also fallen out into one of those scams. So just my advice or suggestion to people, house renting, just be careful.
Mm.
We cannot rely on the fact that what you're speaking online anymore, as we have come to the knowledge that scams are very easy.
Yeah.
So when I was leaving my universe, like a student accommodation, I had to shift, and that time it was very keen for me to find a place because it was ending in September, and I was back in India for 2 months because I was having a summer break before my placement starting. So I was looking for houses, and I landed up on one of the house which apparently was never existing. So we paid some of the deposit, which I will never get that money back.
Yeah.
But that's what after that, like, I was very much careful
Yeah.
that we cannot trust
And
anything
when
until
and
you
how
see.
did you find this scamster on which platform? Perhaps the viewers can be uh, they can be wary of that particular platform.
So, Facebook, your Facebook is
Okay.
very common. People
Got it.
sell by, it's somewhere like OLX. in India.
Mm.
So Facebook was very much is a part of finding or maybe doing things. Uh,
Mm.
but there are other good platforms as well. There is Gumtree and there is Spare Room. There is, if you're living in Belfast, you will get Property Pass and such websites, and they have their offices as well. So
Got it.
it
Yeah.
is easier for
Yeah.
the people to go and have a talk face to face to a person rather on a chat.
Yeah.
Want to add to be very careful because even at times when you're talking face to face, you don't know if that person is going to be legit or not, or the landlord will be good enough or not.
Got it. Yeah. Makes sense. When we were talking earlier, I understood that how your course, which originally offered a 12-month placement, was cut short. And so, how did that sudden change affect you, affect your finances, and the overall experience?
Yeah, so when I joined my placement, and it was for 12 months, I got the admission. Everything was great because it was my first job in the UK. It was quite a big transition, I would say, because with my course, I was doing my part times as well before, just to keep up with my finances and not to be fully dependent on my parents or the education loan which I had taken. So just to balance that out, when I started, it everything was great. People were welcoming, and everything work was nice. I was working on jurisdictions of UK, but after some time, I don't know what happened, what made change their mind. I have no idea. Like I still don't have any clue because after that also I spoke with the people in those office. Like they never had any clarity to give me, because it was for 12 months and they suddenly stopped at the sixth month. One
Mm.
day, you know, when I went to the office, I was like, I had that, when you have that feeling that something bad is going to happen. And I was called in and they said, we have to stop your placement today itself. And I was I, I was not able to process.
Yeah. Can't imagine.
I I went into shock, like complete shock, complete denial. I was crying in that conference room. Those people just left me over there and went. Uh,
Yeah.
like they became so brutal, and they're like, you can pack up and leave now if you want, or you can stay until the rest of the day. So I was like, there's no point of me staying for the rest of the day with sobbing face. Although I went down, I called my best friend, and she's like, you need to, it's okay, you cry out, but then you need to bounce back. You cannot give up. But then that thing had already triggered me so much that I sat on a bus stop for 3 hours crying. Spoke to my dad, told him, he got a bit worried, but then when I spoke with him, he's like, everything will be fine. I will take care of you. You don't have to worry. And actually, I didn't want to give a burden because I have a brother as well. So
Yeah.
I cannot, suddenly give him that burden of sending me a large sum of money every
Yeah.
month. So I was like, I don't know, what can I do? And all those thoughts are rambling up. My university at that time, they were on the call. My professor, actually the placement officer, she called me and she was speaking to me. She was calming me down that, it's okay, it happens. We'll figure it out. You don't have to worry. And I'm like, I cannot process it. It's like, we'll put you to a program for, therapy sessions and everything. But then at that time, nothing was working in my head.
Yeah.
But my only point was I need to bounce back and get a part time at least
Yeah.
so that my finances are covered.
Yeah.
So I spoke with my previous employer, like with the previous person I was working with, and he said yes, you can come, and he was very kind
Nice.
to just get me accepted without even thinking twice. And I got my part time, but then because of which, if you reduce your placement, your final submission time also reduces.
I see. Mm.
So from September it became June,
Mm.
and this all happened in Feb.
Mm.
So within 3-4 months, with the data I had covered, I had to write my dissertation.
Got it. Mm.
And I was with working, with the job, with
Right.
looking for my original profession related job. I was juggling between all of three
Yeah.
and therapy as well. So therapy I did for almost a month, which helped me to put my priorities, set my priorities, understand me better that, okay, things happen in life. You need to bounce back, you need to step up
Mm.
because you're alone. It's because in the end, you are alone.
Yeah.
You are living in a country where you have to feel safe about it for yourself,
Mm.
mentally
Yeah.
as well. So you cannot, like, because once a student who comes out from their cocoon, I would say, to a place where it is totally unimaginable or like new. It's like you are
Yeah.
newborn.
Yeah.
I was newborn when I came. I didn't know how to take a cab, how to book a cab on the phone, which app is working, where to order food from, which already we have been got up from, like, our
Yeah.
childhood, I would say. We know Zomato and Swiggy from as long as I remember. But when you come here, you understand where you can get Indian food, where you can get, because obviously you crave for Indian. Like
Yeah.
we are Indians, that won't leave us. So where you can, join communities or career fairs, or there are workshops which helps as well. So my university had provided all of that, and which was very helpful
I'm sure.
while I
Yeah.
was looking for a job in the
Very
profession
cool.
as a paralegal.
You're quite resilient. You've gone through and you faced so many hurdles in your journey, and you find yourself on the other side of it, which is a fantastic lesson in resilience. And I have a question around that. Just start with this question, where I want to understand about your current role. So, as you said, you're working as a paralegal. What's your current law firm like, or is it a law firm? Yeah, that's what I understand, right? And what's your work like?
So I'm working in Allstate, Northern Ireland. It There is a branch in Pune as well.
Oh, Allstate, the insurance company.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah.
So it is US based.
Yeah.
So I'm working in the New York upstate as a paralegal promotion specialist, wherein my work enrolls managing cases, speaking with the attorneys regarding the case management, insurances, to because that's how we process the claims. So any person who is claiming under the insurance, it will go through us before it gets approved.
Understood.
Yeah, we need to do the documentation, we need to do the process in the court, because
Understood.
when the process starts, it goes into the court. So it's a long journey to complete a claim, but yes, that's what I am working upon right now.
Very cool. Very cool. How are your colleagues like? How do you like your work overall? How's the living situation for you now?
So my colleagues over here are pretty generous, and they are very nice than what I've experienced in the past. Like I feel that was a totally different world I had seen. The company I am now offers me monthly meals. They'll offer me a lot of benefits, which
Nice.
I never thought. like a company will give at that time, because my previous company was not very much, keen about the fact of giving benefits. But then my company has placement programs. I'm a part of that placement program now. Like we have formed a group to help such students who
Yeah.
are just came out of the as a fresher, because not everybody, as I had mentioned earlier, not everyone has that experience. So we are helping them, putting them, uh, giving them opportunities to have that in the career.
It's very nice of
Like
you.
that's,
Yeah.
that's one of the add-on responsibilities apart from being a lawyer, I would say.
Yeah. How's
But
the how's the work visa application process for you? Was it compared to, let's say, getting a student visa? Was it more difficult, less difficult? How was the overall experience?
so the work visa over here, so student, to start with, just to mention, student visas are basically on your education, I
Yeah.
would say that time, because it's the university who's approving it.
Yeah.
So your overall mark sheet and the grades are
Yeah.
mattered.
Yeah.
But when you're doing on a work visa, it's not your marks anymore.
Mm.
Is your work,
Yeah.
is how you do it. How much can you take? Like how you, it's not only the work, but how familiar or how good you are with your colleagues as well.
Yeah.
Because I am in a hybrid role. Although my base is Northern Ireland, but I'm working with colleagues in US, I'm working with colleagues in India as well.
Got it. Yeah.
So how am I managing that? That all counts to my uh, role. And
Yeah.
like how good are you with your managers? That also counts, because work visa, not everybody is getting over here. It is very
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
And people are flying back because of it,
Yeah.
because they are not seeing that opportunity. Because, see, that's what, because I did my placement, I got this job.
Yeah.
That's
Understood.
what was counted.
Understood.
Although I have experience in India, but then my placement made a major role to get this job.
Understood.
So you have to have that, uh, I would say, very particular of what course you're choosing and
Mm.
how is that going to affect your life. Like if you're planning to stay back in that same country, irrespective, now the US laws are changing. There are a lot of students who have to come back. Current current situation, but if you are planning to come to UK, I would just suggest everyone just go through what you are doing. Like, don't get into a course which is not going to value you. I
Yeah.
have many friends which are have done MBA
Mm.
and have not secured a job and they had to go back. Like, I'm not saying MBA is wrong, but then you need to have um, background career into that,
Yeah.
because they will
Yeah.
not, MBA students are not getting over, most of them. Like, if you have a very high profile, yes, but then if you're just a fresher, just coming
Yeah.
out, it's very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. I mentioned we'll have a question on resilience, right? So, and you, of course, we have discussed through the course of our chat about various obstacles that you've faced, and you've been resilient. You're now on the other side of it. My question to you is, and these are getting obstacles is going to be something that a lot of overseas education aspirants will face in the future. It's a part of life, and as you said, when you're abroad, you have the support system is smaller. Sometimes you're it, right? You may have some friends, but many number of friends would be fewer compared to what you would have in India. Relatives would be fewer compared to what you would have in India. So, what are your, let's say, top three advice for students who are would face such obstacles in the future, or who are maybe facing such obstacles right now, to stay resilient? What are your top three pieces of advice?
Yes. So that's a great question, I would say. Resilience is something that comes from both mindset and practice. It's not about never facing challenges, it's about how you respond to them. I have learned that during my adverse events, the key is just to stay grounded, be adaptable, and always have a strong support system.
Yeah.
Just my top three advices to the student who are planning, to come abroad to have a study or to settle, or say resilient, I would say. Just the first is, I would say, embrace the uncertainty. Studying abroad comes with a lot of unknown new cultures, new
Yeah.
systems, challenges you might have not even anticipated. Rather than fearing the uncertainty, try to embrace it as a part of the learning experience. Sometimes, the best growth happens when you're outside your comfort zone. So I would say don't
Yeah.
resist the change, let them shape you. Second is just bring a strong support system. It's easy to feel isolated when you are, far away from home. But
Yeah.
it is crucial if you build connections with both fellow students and people in your, community or around you. Like having a support system, it could be anybody, friends, mentor, counselors can make all those differences through your tough time. So just don't be afraid to ask for help when needed. And always, just to add on it, stay connected to your purpose. So, there will be moments when you will feel like giving up, especially when facing setbacks or challenges, like I did, like, in my course or everything, all the kinds of housing issues and scams. It's just that during those moments, it was important for me to remember why I started all of this in the first place. You
Yeah.
know, where is this reflecting for me where is my reflect to the long-term goals and opportunities I was working to work forward towards, and keeping that vision alive, and I can come help or push through those difficult times. So above all, it's important to remember that resilience isn't about being perfect or handling everything on your own. It's just about accepting your challenges, learning from them, and continuing to move forward with a positive mindset. Growth comes from adversities, and at the end of the day, those tough moments will shape you in a stronger.
That's fantastic advice. I loved every word of it. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Videshi Chai. A big thank you to Kinnari for taking all your time, and also to our fellow study abroad aspirants for tuning in. Wish you the best.
Thank you.
Kinnari's story reminds us that the road to studying abroad isn't always pitch perfect. But that's how life is. And it is in those adverse moments that the real growth happens. When we started this podcast, our main focus was to give a gentle nudge and reality check through alumni stories. Today's podcast has been a testimonial to our vision. If you found value in this conversation, then do share it with a friend and leave a comment below. Trust me, it will make a difference. See you in the next episode.